Hi, welcome everybody, it's Mike Newton here at Lytham Golf Academy. I've got a wedge head-to-head here for you today in this video with two very popular wedges in terms of the Cleveland RTX3 against the Callaway Mack forged. So for me, two very classic looking shaped wedges here. Obviously, you know, as most wedges on the market now, there's a lot of technology involved in a wedge now with these milling on the club face, obviously maximum depths of grooves to get ultimate grip, obviously within the legal restraints. But now some of the brands are sort of shifting a bit of weight around the head to try and increase or trying to centralize, it sounds strange, but to centralize the center of gravity in the head. Now traditionally a wedge always has a long hosel. Okay, so there's obviously a lot of weight in that hosel which pulls the CG more towards the heel of the actual golf club, or pulling it in towards that hosel. So, for instance, with the Cleveland now, they have a port inside the hosel where they take weight out and then reposition it more towards the sort of toe section, which allows them to bring the CG back to the middle. Sounds strange, but as I say, most of the CGs and wedges are more heel orientated. So, if we can obviously hit the middle of the golf club where the CG is, the spin is greater. Okay, and the performance and consistency of ball speed is greater, which is more about hitting the exact sort of yardages. Mack, again, they've got weight out of the back of the head here, so again, they're repositioning weight. They've got milling on the club face here. The RTX has milling between each groove, but then a circular milling, which is this Rotex, which is what RTX stands for. I've got both of these lofts in a 56 degree, okay, and they're both very similar bounce. The Callaway's a 10 bounce. The Cleveland is the 11 bounce, so that's their standard bounce options for their 56 degree wedges. I'm going to hit a couple of different shots. I put myself on the 18th hole at Royal Birkdale here, 100 yards out. So I'm going to hit two shots with each wedge at 100 yards, and I'm going to hit another two shots with each wedge at 75 yards. And we're just going to maybe have a look at consistency of the length of the shot and also the spin number, and see if one is producing a little bit more spin than the other, and which maybe I would sort of prefer. Now, so the Callaway is a forged head, the Cleveland one isn't. Okay, so we're going to bear that in mind. So I imagine there's going to be a slightly softer feel here. I'm using real golf balls here in the way of the Srixon Z-Star golf ball here. So we've got some proper golf balls to get some proper spin numbers here. Okay, let's have a little look. Let's hit some shots and see which one's performing the best. So we're going to start off with the Callaway. As I say, this is a 56 degree. So 100 yards, it's pretty much on my limit for a 56. So it's a pretty full sand down here. Let's give this one a hit. Okay, a little bit to the right that one, but loads of spin on that. That's really churning back. Probably just left the face a tiny bit open there, so probably just generate a little bit more spin. That carried at 96 yards. Yeah, 11,000 spin there. Okay, we'll hit this next one. Again, felt really sort of nippy there. Better direction. Again, loads of spin on there. That's spinning. Probably might not be quite as far back. I was pitched at 100. Yeah, spun at just under 11,000 there. Okay, so I'm just going to nip back over, or switch over, should I say, to the RTX. We're going to hit a couple of shots with that at 100 yards, then we'll drop back to 75. Right, so I've got the Cleveland RTX3 in my hands here now. So I think straight away, just looking at a little bit of shape, is I'm seeing a slightly more compact head with the Cleveland. The Callaway one does look a little bit larger up that toe side of it, as it sort of shapes up into the high toe section. Obviously they do the PM grind, which is the Phil Mickelson one, which is really massive on that toe. It's a bit of a quirky sort of looking club, and obviously the grooves go right to the end. But this is the more traditional shape in terms of the Mack Forge. But the Cleveland one does look to have that slightly sort of smaller compact. Still a really nice shape here. Okay, so 100 yards, let's give this one a hit. That felt really solid. A little bit more into the ground with that one. Yeah, just flew a little bit further. Loads of spin again there. That carried a tiny bit further. Yeah, that was 102 carry. Spinning at Yeah, again, just sort of under that 11,000 mark. Yeah, not a bad strike there. Yeah, loads of spin yet again. Just seem to be flying the Cleveland one that little bit further. See, that's 103 carry there. Again, spinning very similar, just under that 11,000 mark. Okay, so that's 2 shots hit with both here. I'm going to just move back at 75 yards. Going to keep on the same green, move back 75 yards, and another 2 shots with each club, and then we're going to have a look at some numbers. Okay, so just move the positioning back. I've actually got it to 76 yards. I couldn't quite get it on 75. My steady hand on the mouse wasn't quite good enough. So I've got the Callaway back in my hand here. So this is more now, obviously a shorter length. So the 100 was more of a fuller sand iron for me there. This is going to be a little bit more sort of 3/4 length here. So this is going to test a bit of my skill here of obviously getting the right distance here. Okay, so again, I'm going to hit 2 shots with each. We've got the Strixon Z-Star balls here. Let's hit the first one. Again, felt a really nice strike. Just towards the back of the green, quite a bit of nip on that. So obviously this ball's just going to come out just slightly lower here. Probably pitched that a little bit too far there, possibly. Yeah, I think there's more sort of 85 yards pitched out. So this is going to come out, I imagine, a little bit lower. We'll look at peak height here, because obviously I'm playing more of a sort of held off sort of finish. That's going to drop, just drop that launch fractionally. Just trying to hit a closer one. That felt really nice. Okay, so you start probably to see here that I'm going to start producing a little bit less spin, because obviously it's not a full out shot. You know, the key ingredients here to create spin is speed. Okay, now obviously I'm dropping my speed off here as I'm getting closer to the green. So I'm not going to generate as much speed, so the spin will drop a little bit. But again, we'll see what the comparison is like from the Callaway to the Cleveland. Right, so last 2 at 75 yards. Now I've got the Cleveland RTX3 in my hands. So I'm going to try and again fill that 75 yard shot. Ooh, a little bit right, that one. Didn't quite get a good strike on there. Still a bit of spin on that. That's a better carry distance, 79. Probably just starting to dial in my carry distance a little bit more there. Right, so we're going to hit the last shot here at 75 yards. Let's try and get this one closer if we can. Again, nice strike there. Yeah, just not dialing in my yardage. That, again, this is more me. Obviously not playing them as much here. You start to lose this sort of touchy sort of shots here, feel sort of shots, which is this 75 yarder. You know, more full out, I can hit a number. It's then start to work on a lot of feel, don't you, as you drop back. But anyway, let's have a quick look at some numbers and comparisons between those 2 different distances, different clubs, and maybe look at spin and maybe give you a little bit of feedback of which one is creating the most spin. Okay, let's have a look at some numbers then. So this is 100 yards ones first, these 2, so the Callaway and the Cleveland. So we're going to look at spin numbers here. So Callaway at the top, Cleveland on the bottom. So you can see the average in there, about 400 revs more with the Callaway. So not a massive amount in it there. Carry distance 97 against 102. So I just seem to get a little bit more carry distance with that Cleveland there. It seemed to come off. I felt like I struck all those pretty as similar. Maybe the first one with the Callaway was the one I just leaked a little bit sort of high right, which probably where that spin's just crept up a little bit. So probably as an average, they will creep together. All strikes being maybe more consistent. There's not a massive difference of spin number there. As I say, a little bit more length out of it maybe with the Callaway over the Cleveland. Now dropping back to the 75 yard shot. So the yellow and the blue, again Callaway and the Cleveland, 75 yards. So we're going to go across to spin here. You can see maybe just a little bit more spin with that Cleveland one there. But to be honest, both of them I didn't really get the right sort of yardage, but that's more me than the actual club. So I was just flying these a little bit too long, a bit heavy-handed from myself there. But that time, this Cleveland seemed to get a little bit more spin than the Callaway, so just flipped around a little bit there. Okay, so there we have it. Two really good wedges in my opinion there. If I had to sort of split them in terms of performance, there's not a lot in it there. You know, possibly I could say, well, the Cleveland's giving me a little bit more spin on those shorter shots. But then again, the Callaway a little bit more on those longer shots. So probably splitting it that way, I may just edge Cleveland. Going purely on looks, again, it's a very tough one because they're both very classic sort of shaped heads. As I say, the Callaway is slightly bigger appearance, so possibly those 56 degree or the high loft, if you start opening the blade up, you know, round the green more sort of shots, then possibly that slightly bigger head might just look a little bit more appealing. You know, if you imagine it coming under deeper grass and you're playing sort of different lies that you would probably experience on the golf course. So possibly Callaway there would maybe just edge it in terms of a look. In terms of feel, now I'd say the Callaway's forged, the Cleveland wasn't. To be honest, I don't know if I really felt a massive difference between those two, whether one was forged. I think if you blindfolded me and I hit those, mixed them up, hit them, and I didn't know which hand in my hand, it would be pretty hard to tell, I would say. Possibly the Callaway, I just felt like, whether I'm just imagining that because I know that's forged and the Cleveland isn't, not enough in it really for me to make a call between those two really. So really, I think wedges are very personal in my opinion. I think when you start to look at wedges and possibly come to sort of purchase a wedge, is the key part here is to obviously get a gap in through whether you're carrying 2 wedges, 3 wedges or even 4 wedges. You've got to get the gap in right, which getting on a launch monitor here with a good fitter who's got the loft options in the wedges and then blend them in from your pitching wedge and your set into your gap, your sand, your lob or whatever number of wedges you want to carry. That is crucial when you're sort of wanting to buy new wedges. Got to get them fitted. In terms of look of them, I think it's very personal. You know, some people will put it down and like a look. Some people just aren't bothered. They put it down and they just say, oh, it's a wedge, you know. So for me personally, looks are pretty important. I think it's got to, as soon as you sit down, it's got to look quite appealing to me. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Do appreciate you watching my videos. Do comment down below if you've got any views on this particular video. If there's any other wedge-related videos you want me to do, I'll be more than happy to try and get these out for you. Please do subscribe. There's a subscribe button down the bottom there, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.